Hello recruit, and welcome to an Astroneer Academy Extra. Last week, we discussed the various rover class vehicles and the gravity globe. In today's extra course, we will investigate various augments and other items that can bring added functionality to your rovers. We will also take a look at the compass and how to use it for navigation. Let's get started. Most of the vehicles in the rover class can make use of a few augments and other items that allow you to manipulate the terrain and collect resources. To remove terrain and collect resources, you'll need one of three drills. Which one you will need will be largely determined by the hardness of soil you are drilling through. Let's take a quick look at all three drills. Drill Strength 1 is unlocked in the research catalog for 2,500 bytes and is created on the small printer from 1 ceramic and 1 tungsten carbide. Drill Strength 1 can easily dig through the first 2 hardness levels of soil, but it will slow down when it encounters anything harder. Drill Strength 2 is unlocked in the research catalog for 5,000 bytes, and it is created on the small printer from 1 tungsten carbide and 1 titanium alloy. It can dig through the first 3 hardness levels of soil, but will slow down in the hardest soil. Drill Strength 3 is unlocked in the research catalog with 7,500 bytes, and it is created on the small printer from 1 titanium alloy and 1 diamond. It can drill through all terrain with ease. All drills are medium tier 2 objects when unpacked. When activated on a rover, they will dig a wide path that will result in a large arched tunnel if you dig deep enough. This path and the tunnels they can create will grow in size with increased drill strength. When active, all drills consume power at a rate of 1 unit per second. A fourth augment, the Paver, allows you to place soil instead of removing it. The Paver is unlocked in the research catalog with 5,000 bytes and is crafted on the small printer from 1 aluminum alloy and 1 silicone. When unpacked, it is a medium tier 2 object. When activated, it will consume power at a rate of 1 unit per second. The Paver cannot create soil from nothing, however. You must have a soil canister that contains soil attached to the rover. Since a Paver can quickly empty a small soil canister, a better option is the medium fluid and soil canister. The medium fluid and soil canister will cost 2,500 bytes to unlock in the research catalog, and it is crafted on the small printer from 1 plastic and 1 glass. When unpacked, it is a medium tier 2 item. The medium fluid and soil canister can hold the same quantity of soil as 24 small soil canisters, making it ideal for use with a drill or paver. When attached to your rover, removing terrain with a drill will fill the medium fluid and soil canister, while adding terrain with the paver will empty the canister. The medium fluid and soil canister has other functionality as well, but we will save that topic for our discussion of automated production in Astroneer Academy 303. All drills and the paver require a medium tier 2 auxiliary slot to function. Activating the auxiliary slot a drill or paver is attached to will turn the drill and paver on or off. Adding a drill or paver to your rover introduces additional functionality beyond just removing or adding soil. If you think back to our discussion of the terrain hardness indicator on your terrain tool from the Astroneer Academy 103 Extra, you'll recall that the terrain tool reticle will indicate the terrain hardness. When you add a drill or paver to a rover, a similar reticle will appear as you drive. This rover-based reticle functions almost identically to that of your terrain tool reticle. The dots in the center section will increase as the terrain becomes harder, and there is a ring around the outside of the reticle that indicates soil collection. The key difference between this and the terrain tool reticle is that this one on a rover also indicates the angle at which you are digging or adding soil. The angle is displayed near the center of the rover reticle. You can control the angle of the drill by simply changing your viewing angle. If you adjust your viewing angle down, the drill and paver will angle down. If you adjust your viewing angle up, the drill and paver will angle up. You may have noticed that this angle does not extend much beyond the halfway mark. That is because a rover's drill and paver will be temporarily disabled if you exceed an angle that could cause the rover to flip over or lose traction. You may have noticed that your rover moves much more slowly when the drill or paver is active. This is a safety measure introduced by Exodynamics to ensure that your vehicle does not reach uncontrollable speeds. Before this safety measure was introduced, it was possible, and rather common, for your rover to approach runaway speeds while drilling down. You would often be unable to brake in time to avoid obstacles, and the rover could easily wind up off course. While this safety measure is beneficial to the average astroneer, recruits in Astroneer Academy are definitely way above average. So, here's a quick pro tip for getting some decent speed while using a drill or paver. It's quite easy. Instead of turning the drill or paver on and leaving it on, turn it on and off rapidly. It may take a bit of practice to get this one right, but if you do, you will be able to utilize your drill and paver without moving so slowly. You can utilize the drills and paver with nearly every rover class vehicle, excluding the buggy. When equipped with a drill, a rover becomes an excellent way to quickly collect soil and resources, as they can extract soil and resources from a larger area and do so faster than your terrain tool. That brings us to another pro tip. When gathering soil or resources with a rover, you will often find that you're picking up resources other than those you intended to collect. One of the most common resources will be organic, because that stuff is everywhere. In certain biomes on various planets, you may find yourself collecting so much organic that it fills your storage and prevents you from collecting the resources you intended to collect. Since organic is fairly abundant and easy to create in a soil centrifuge, it would be great if there was a way to simply discard the organic, and you can. Simply attach one or more small generators to your rover and begin collecting soil and resources. Any organic you collect will automatically slot to the small generator and be consumed in a matter of minutes. This can help keep your storage free from unwanted organic and open for the resources you actually intended to collect. Your rovers are not the only things that can make use of a drill or paver. The crane is a large Tier 3 module that can be attached to a rover or a platform. The crane is unlocked in the research catalog with 4,500 bytes and is created on the medium printer from 1 steel, 1 silicone, and 1 titanium. The crane features a single medium Tier 2 auxiliary slot and 2 small Tier 1 storage slots. The auxiliary slot on the crane is intended as a connection point for a drill or paver. To operate an attached drill or paver, you must sit in the crane's built-in seat. You cannot operate it from the rover seat. The crane's movement is operated in the same manner as you would use to look around an area, and you can activate a drill or paver with the same controls as your terrain tool. To help illuminate your work area, you can attach a work light or floodlight to one or both of the small Tier 1 storage slots. If nothing is attached to those small slots, they will serve as storage for any resources you dig up. As you drill, any soil collected will be sent to soil canisters that are attached to the same rover or platform as the drill, and any resources will be sent to the attached storage. If you happen to have a soil centrifuge on the platform or rover the crane is attached to, removing soil with a crane-mounted drill will automatically fill the soil centrifuge's internal soil storage before filling any attached soil canisters. To add soil with a crane-mounted paver, you must have one or more soil canisters attached to the same rover or platform. It may seem like the crane is rather redundant, since you can operate a drill and paver from a large rover. If you have fellow astroneers joining you, however, adding a crane equipped with a drill can really speed up resource collection. You can drive the rover, operating the drill and paver to collect resources directly in front of you, while your friend can operate the crane and collect resources to either side. The winch is another useful item to bring added functionality to your rovers. It is also the single greatest piece of evidence that we are trapped within a simulation. You will want to exercise caution when utilizing a winch, as it can be rather unpredictable. As the research catalog itself states, the winch is an experiment that went horribly wrong, or right. Speaking of the research catalog, it requires 3,750 bytes to unlock the winch. You can create a winch on the small printer from 1 exochip and 1 rubber. When unpacked, the winch is a medium Tier 2 object that can be attached to any Tier 2 or higher storage slot. On the other end of the winch is a hook that you can use by simply grabbing it and attaching it to another object. What objects can you attach a winch to? Well, that question is more easily answered by what you cannot attach it to. Historical probes and very large spaceport wrecks are about the only items you cannot attach a winch to. Everything else is pretty much fair game. You do not even really need a rover to utilize a winch. You can connect the winch's hooks to an object, then pick up and carry the winch in your hands. When you are ready to disconnect the winch's hook from an object, simply grab the hook itself or touch the base of the cable where it comes out of the body of the winch. Remember, using the winch can produce rather unpredictable results. Slow, steady movements will give you something sort of resembling control, while quick movements can often result in comically erratic outcomes. Now that we have covered the augments and other items that you can use to expand the utility of rovers, let's move on to navigation. To learn how to open the compass, please refer to the second page of the Astroneer Basics section of the Astropedia. There you will find instructions on how to access the compass via your action wheel. If you feel the compass interface is too large or small, or you wish to adjust the tilt of the compass, you can do so from the General Options section of the Training Simulation's main menu. You can access the compass at any time, whether on foot or in a vehicle. As a bonus, if the compass was the last option you accessed via the action wheel, you can quickly press the same input to open and close the compass. The compass will always display an N on the innermost ring, indicating the direction of the planet's North Pole. The compass will also display numerous nav points indicating the location of beacons, the nearest shelter, shuttle or vehicle, and other points of interest. We will look at each of these nav point icons in just a moment. The nav points are displayed three-dimensionally, giving you an indication of not only how far away a point of interest is, but also whether it is above or below your current elevation. Distance is communicated by the rings of the compass. Nav points near the innermost ring are very close by, and you will often be able to see them in your surroundings. Points of interest on the outer ring are often very far away. Points of interest that are above or below you will appear to float somewhere above or below the rings of the compass to indicate their position relative to your current elevation. Items that are above your current elevation will appear above the compass, and those below your current elevation will appear below the compass. Each point of interest will indicate just how far above or below you an item is with a clear visual representation. Those that are only slightly above or below will appear only slightly above or below the compass. For those items that are much farther above or below, you will see the nav points extending farther above or below the compass. As this vertical distance increases, the lines connecting the nav point to the compass will grow, and dots may appear to indicate larger distances. All of the nav points adjust dynamically and in real time, allowing you to use the compass to easily navigate toward a specific point of interest. As you get nearer and nearer to an item, its nav point will get closer and closer to the center of the compass. Which nav points are displayed will adjust dynamically as well. There is both a hierarchy to which nav points can be displayed and a limit of 10 on the total number of specific nav points that you will see displayed on the compass at any given time. Let's take a look at all the different nav points, starting with the beacon. The beacon is a very handy navigation item. You can use it to mark your own points of interest, or you can use them to mark the location of a resource deposit you wish to return to later. You might use them to mark the location of a large debris field that you want to come back and scrap at a later time. You can use them to mark a great spot for a new base of operations. How you use the beacons is entirely up to you. Beacons are unlocked in the research catalog from the start of a new adventure, and you have already acquired 2 of them as rewards from the For Science mission in Astroneer Academy 105. If you wish to create any additional beacons, you can do so on your backpack using 1 quartz. You can interact with a beacon to change between its 10 different colors or to turn it off entirely. You can typically see a beacon's indicator from a decent distance. Due to the curvature of the planets, however, the beacon's indicator can be hidden beyond the horizon. You can extend the reach of the beacon's indicator somewhat by placing them in higher elevations, such as in mountains or even on large pillars of soil that you create. The compass will display the location of up to 9 beacons at any given time, though they are given lower priority than other nav points. They will appear on your compass as round, various colored icons that correspond to the color of the beacon. Similar to almost all other nav points, the compass will only show you the beacons that are physically closest to you. If you do not see a specific beacon displayed on the compass, you'll need to move away from the beacons that are currently being displayed. There are other nav points you may see on your compass as well. If you look closely, you'll see that the majority of these nav points correspond to the icons you'll encounter in the research catalog and in tooltips. You gotta love Exodynamics' attention to detail on that one. Several of these nav points have unique behavior or certain conditions that determine when they will appear, though, like the beacons, they will only display the corresponding item that is closest to you. But let's talk about the nav points with unique characteristics. As we discussed in Astroneer Academy 102, the death marker will only display the location of your most recent demise. Additionally, it will disappear entirely shortly after you recover the items that were contained in the backpack at the marker. The historical probe nav point will only display while a probe scanner is active and will disappear until you reactivate the probe scanner. The mission objective nav point will not typically be displayed until its corresponding mission becomes available. Some astroneers have reported seeing these mission nav points appear before the missions become available, however, and some even report that these nav points linger once the mission is complete. I could not verify this behavior, however, but I felt it was worth mentioning. The Glowsticks shell nav points may appear grayed out if there are additional steps required to obtain the shell. The Curiosities nav point will only display the 3 nearest curiosities and only when a specific Glowsticks is active and on the same planet as you. We'll talk more about the additional steps for shells and which snail can help you locate curiosities in Astroneer Academy 204. Finally, the Cauldranja and other limited time event nav points will only display on your compass when their respective limited time events are currently active within the training simulation. We'll discuss limited time events further in Astroneer Academy 401. While the compass is the go-to item for navigation, there is one other visual element that can aid you in navigation. Every planet and moon is made up of numerous biomes, with each biome having its own unique characteristics. As you move from biome to biome, you will see the name of the biome displayed briefly across the top of the training simulation. If you want to check which biome you're currently in, but the information has already disappeared, you can simply open your compass briefly. That will cause the biome information to display again across the top of the training simulation. In Astroneer Academy 202, you will see that this same location information appears when traveling to different planets. The biome information may not, at first glance, appear all that useful. There are, however, missions and Astropedia information that will often refer to specific biomes. Additionally, knowing the names of the various biomes can come in handy when discussing the training simulation with fellow astroneers. This gives everyone a consistent nomenclature and avoids confusion when trying to indicate in which biome you found that sweet graphite deposit. There are a couple of other additional low-tech options to aid you with basic navigation as well. Tethers not only provide oxygen and power to your backpack, but they can also come in handy when you need to find your way back to your shelter. Simply follow the tether line and it will lead you right back home. You can also utilize Glowsticks. You can unlock these at the research catalog with 350 bytes and create them on your backpack printer from Organic. Each pack you create will contain 25 glow sticks, and you can drop them via your backpack widget slots, creating a nice, dimly lit breadcrumb trail for you to follow. Don't rely on glow sticks for long journeys, however, as they only glow for 15 minutes before they disappear altogether. Speaking of glow sticks, unlocking them in the research catalog is one of 4 requirements for the Advanced Explorer Kit mission. We have already discussed 2 of the others, the oxygen tank and power cells, in Astroneer Academy 102 and 103 respectively. We will be taking a look at dynamite soon in Astroneer Academy 202. You will need a total of 6,900 bytes to unlock all 4 items, but your mission reward for doing so is your very first QT RTG. Sure, it is an odd assortment of items for a single mission, but most of them can come in handy in our next quarter of 200 level courses. That QT RTG is going to come in play very soon as well. Today, you have learned about augments and other items that you can use to bring additional functionality to your rovers. You have also learned how to use the compass for navigation and how to differentiate between its many nav points. You also went on a bit of a frivolous spending spree in order to obtain your first QTRTG. In Astroneer Academy 201, we will apply all of the knowledge you have learned thus far, build a shuttle, and blast off into space. Also coming up in our 200 level courses, we will discuss advanced resources, base building, xenobiology, and the Gateway Fast Travel Network. We are, however, still putting the finishing touches on this second quarter, so Astroneer Academy will be taking a short break for a few weeks while we get everything ready for you. Before we wrap up the day, I want to congratulate you, recruit. After reviewing the 2 quick bites coming later today, you will have wrapped up your first quarter of training in Astroneer Academy. You have learned about all of the essential topics that will be the foundation of your success in the training simulation. We still have a lot to cover, but for now, take a moment to celebrate this milestone in your journey. Until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to keep looking to the stars.